Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. This is our setup, play and review video for the game Black Rose Wars Rebirth Duel Lex. Now this is a limited edition cover, so you might not have the same cover as I do, and this particular layout I've deliberately set up, so even though I'm showing you playing as Bartholomew, ultimately this will be orientated sideways so everybody can read these equally. Also, I've only put out Ulrich over here. I haven't set up Ulrich himself, but over here I do have Bartholomew with the various little tokens down here. You're trying to get the most power points to win. It's a game that takes about 45 minutes to play, or I generally find it takes a bit longer than that. And the aim of the game is either to beat your opponent by getting the most score, or ultimately to do better than the Black Rose as well. So this is a game whereby you're going to be playing out cards. You're going to have a grimoire. So what you're going to be doing is one person can choose to go first. Ultimately, the last person had a rose or something like this. And if you're watching this as a short, please make sure you watch the full video over on YouTube. Okay, so you're either going to be playing with these cards or these cards. So let's say I'm the knight. So I'm going to be playing with these cards, or I could be playing as these cards. Your opponent is going to play the other ones. Find those cards in the deck, so generally leave them sorted out. And take one of each copy, there's 3 of each. And then you're going to have what's called a grimoire. So you're going to have 6 cards plus your special card, and then you're going to shuffle these cards up, and it's going to go into your draw pile. You're also going to have 2 extra of those copies of those cards, which you will draw into once you've gone through your entire deck. So this is a game whereby you're going to be exploring various locations. You've got to have your special character come out. So you're going to have a unique one for Ulrich. Check out my unboxing, teaser, trailer, preview video for that one too. And you're also going to have 3 of these other guys too, the Templari. The year is about 1600 over in Rome. This game, by the way, is by a Roman company called, or at least an Italian company called LMS or Ludus Maximus Studio. Or Ludus Magna Studio. So I'm not actually using a game mat underneath here, just to show you that these do actually have recessed holes. See me having cubes in here, and you can use that to track points and power and stuff like that. Okay, so once you have shuffled up, you're going to be drawing up some cards. Now in this case, I have a hand limit of 8. I have a health of 10, I can fight with 2, I can move up to 2 spaces, etc. The bottom bit's only going to be used if you play with Black Rose Wars Rebirth, which I do have, which I will do a separate video too as well. Now you can control these Templari, and you have a 1, a 2, a 3, there are 3 of these available, and you can place them in here, and it basically shows you which one you're controlling, relating to these various spots down here too. As you can see, I do have some play arrays, they're just partially out of shot as well. And there are some special cards, and all of this can be integrated with Black Rose Wars Rebirth as well. And just like these cards in my hand, I can play with the cards either side of them. So what's going to happen is any extra cards, again, you can have these 2nd and 3rd copies of those cards, are going to get shuffled up along with your opponents, and they can be drawn up too. You can also play with 1 or 2 different ways. You can play with this being the turn order. So basically in this case, the Black Rose is going to do damage to you. Or you can do this way around, where in this case, they're going to be gaining power points, i.e. they're competing with you for victory. So do you want to try and get exhausted, which doesn't kill you, but anyway, I'll come back onto that. Or you can try and vie with them for points. So that's something that comes out. You can also bring out 2 quests as well. So normally this would go here, but I'm going to place it here just because I'm going to be reading this more. 2 different quests, and again, that would normally go here and here. You can play with either side of them. So in this case, you're trying to do something first, little objectives to get a few points. You place the last cube in a space. These are called damage points or damage cubes. I'm just going to call them cubes, or infliction points. And what you're going to do is that particular mage or wizard or magician or whatever is going to be inflicting damage, or in this case the Black Rose is going to do 1 damage to you. So if you place a cube in there, you're going to get 1 damage, but you are going to gain a Black Rose. I'm not sure if you get 1 and 2 or not, but you're going to be losing those over there too. So that goes there. Again, that would normally go here, but for the sake of easiness, I'm going to place it over here too. There are going to be excess cubes as well you're going to be playing with. It's quite a nice insert as well. Just for the sake of argument, just make it stand out a bit better, I'm going to use one of my red cubes just to show you that we are in phase 1. So these phases kick in. So the various things that what's the, I guess the AI or the NPC or the, I guess the Black Rose is going to be doing is once we have populated a room, these are going to flip over as such, be a bit more brighter. And then, whatever it's doing, it's not going to do the first turn anymore. It's going to do the second turn. 4 turns and the game ends, or 4 different kind of phases, 4 times in which we flip over some of these rooms. That will trigger the end of the game. So turn over 4 rooms, and then we finish off the round, and then we see who has the most points. So when you've got these rooms, there's various abilities on them. However, you can shuffle these up, and sometimes they can end up this way up, which means nothing which occurs at all, or sometimes they say this way up, which triggers other benefits. So for example, if I move onto this space, I can heal for 2. However, when it's flipped over, it might have nothing on it because that particular room could be blank, or it could now be this one, in which case it heals me for 6. And the whole point is you want to shuffle these up at random, so you don't know whether or not you're going to end up with which side. but you might want to play, I tend to play in the first game, something interesting happens because it's a bit more interesting that way. So these two cards are kind of put off to the side, they're shuffled up, and there'll be a draw deck, so you can draw into them as and when an ability allows you to do so. It's here, for example. So here you can discard 2 ready cards. If you do, you can draw one of these forgotten cards. And once these cards are then played and then discarded, they're going to go back into the draw pile again over here. They're not going to come back. Also, when you control these Templari, they're all identical, but they're going to go in front of you, and basically they're going to act as a little kind of support agent that you can use. They have a damage of 3 or damage of 2, a health of 3, and they basically allow you to do stuff too. They let you, I guess, mitigate what's going on here. So as you can see, we're trying to populate these with our cubes, and the reason why you want to have the most in here is you're going to get points. Once it's resolved, if you have the most, you're going to get 4 points, and you could have 2 or 1, etc. However, again, the black rows will be competing with you too, and there are ways in which that you can remove other people's cubes or convert their cubes into your color cubes, which can be great for trying to obviously control and get points. Again, most points is the winner, and once you reach 20 or more, which I do in the last game, you can get yourself 20 points as well. If I'm speaking too fast, by all means do slow this down. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do follow along and do hit the notification bell because there are daily videos at time of recording, and there's lots of other things to be checking out as well. I know about 95% of people aren't subscribing, but there's about 40,000 viewers a month checking out the stuff. Okay, so let's talk about what we do on our turn. Well, first up, we do the Black Rose phase. In this case, we're going to have some damage done to us, in which case I'm going to be having 2 damage done to me. So we'll grab 2 of these and place them out onto my side. So I've taken 2 damage. Of course, they're going to have 2 damage as well. And once we're exhausted, again, that's going to be noted as and when we trigger that. So we're into round 1. Let's just place it back again. I've taken 2 damage. And that's it. That's all that needs to be done. So they're taking 2 damage. And now we move on to, let's say I'm going first. So what I can do is I'm going to be drawing up some cards. So I can draw 2 from here, 2 from the central deck as well. Let's just say I'm looking at these 2 cards for now. The black rose can place a cube. If they do, I can summon a Templari. So it's a she in terms of black rose. Or maybe there's something I want to do over here too. So in this case, this is persistent. So the card stays in front of me. I can do 2 damage whenever I'm damaged by 1. Or I can move one of my undead. If you do, I can place 2 cubes. So let's say on my first turn, I can, let's say the black rose. Well, firstly, I need to move. So let's say I've got some cards in hand. I could have some more. These cards, by the way, are now meant to go down into here. These kind of like prepped spells. And you're going to orientate them towards you as to when you flip them over. I don't find that a major effect, partially because when you're taking your turn, it means that when you're revealing what you're going to be doing, I don't feel like the opponent's really going to do much. The whole point is you're layering down up to 4 cards. You can have 4 cards that you can be up to 4 you can be playing out. And then you're taking a turn up to 2 cards, and then you can exhaust from your tokens. They're taking up to 2 turns, and then it's their turn again because they're going to have this marker, and then it's back to your turn again. So it's 1, 2, 2, 1, so to speak. That's how the turn order works. But let's just say I happen to reveal this one. I can make the black rose place a cube. So let's say I've moved for 1. What I can choose to do on my turn is one of 3 different things. I can explore, which lets me move 1, i.e. 1 action point. Now, a move is up to 2. So even though the action point is 1, you're moving up to your speed. In this case, it's 2. Let's say I just stop here because I want to heal, in which case I can heal and remove some health from here. So I've healed for 1. Now, the second option I could choose to do is play a card. So I could fight as well. That's another option, but there's nothing one to fight at the minute. And in terms of that, you're doing damage each equal to your strength. So I'm doing damage of 2. So 2 of my cubes would be going over here as an example. But what I could choose to do is command. And that's basically playing out one of my, one of these guys. I'm commanding out my Templari. But I could cast a spell. I'm revealing one of my ready spells. And basically you're considered the caster of that spell. And if it shows placing out cubes, which it does, so I'm basically having the baddie place out a cube. But then I get to place out a Templari wherever I want. So let's say I'm assigning it as a 1. Assigning it here. And then let's say I play out this other card at some point or another. I can remove this, and then I can place out 2 of my cubes. And there you can see it's going to be quite rapid in placing out and filling up one of these rooms. Just imagine it filled up and I had the most, then I would get 2 points. The black rose would get 1 point, so I'd get 2 over here. And then what's going to happen is this is going to flip, and now this is permanently, and watch out, these are actually recessed. They're not fully empty. That flips over. Let's say we did have whatever it was, so you can heal for 6. And now from now on, if ever you go to that room, you can do that. But obviously you can't place any more cubes. And then again, this would have also moved down another turn as well, but it wouldn't go as quick as that normally. Bearing in mind, there might be some other quest things I may have completed, so you might want to try and focus on doing that at the same time. So it's quite interesting. In terms of my review, I'd say it's very good. My average rating being a 6.4 based on over 2,700 reviews at time of recording. I'd give this about a 7. I think it's interesting. It did seem to take a lot longer than we anticipated, but what you can be doing is also, if you happen to exhaust someone, you can get yourself a trophy, which might be useful elsewhere too. You also need to be aware of the fact that you're competing against a kind of a third party as well. And once your deck is empty, you're just going to drop some more cards. So you're always going to draw 2 from here, 2 from that standard middle deck as well. And you might get some powerful cards out of this, obviously the forgotten stuff as well. So you can have persistence, so it could potentially sort of say in front of you, this one's good, you can convert 3 and place 5, so that's really going to ramp up one of these things. Again, more points in the center. And then in coming back to scoring, what you're going to be doing is just making sure you have checked everything in terms of things working. So sometimes you're going to be picking up these Templari. Again, there's up to 3. They can come on the board. I've actually had times when my opponents had all 3. I've had all 3 as well, and it's quite an interesting experience. Any questions, always do let me know via the comments on YouTube, and also make sure you check out the podcast, TikTok, X, etc. as well. Well, like I said, this has been a very rapid run through. I hope you have found this of interest though, and again, looking forward to speaking to you again about this in the future. There you go. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game. This has been Black Rose Wars Duel Lex.